Hi, I am Martin Hoshway. Imagine a gift so massive it defied politics, war, and oceans. A gift born out of chaos, rebellion, and a dream to rival the ancient wonders. This is not just the story of a statue, it's the story of fire, chains, liberty, and the clash of worlds. And it all began in 1865, with a dinner table conversation in Paris that would change history forever. The story begins in 1865. France had just emerged from years of political turmoil, and many French liberals admired the young democracy of the United States. Among them was Édouard René de Laboulaye, a respected professor, politician, and anti-slavery advocate. At a dinner in Paris, Laboulaye proposed an extraordinary idea: to create a monumental gift from France to America. It would honor America's centennial of independence, celebrate shared values of liberty, and strengthen the friendship between the two nations. The idea electrified sculptor Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi. Known for his massive public works, Bartholdi had dreamed of building a colossal statue, something to rival the ancient wonders. Now he had his chance. But Bartholdi envisioned a woman majestic yet approachable, clad in classical robes like a Roman goddess. She would hold a torch high, symbolizing enlightenment, and in her left hand, a tablet marked with the date of America's independence, July 4th, 1776. At her feet, broken chains would lie, representing the end of oppression. Her crown would have 7 spikes, a sign that liberty belongs to all 7 continents and all 7 seas. UT vision alone was not enough. A statue of such size had never been attempted. Bartholdi needed engineering genius. He found it in Gustave Eiffel, the man who would later design the Eiffel Tower. Eiffel designed a flexible iron framework, a kind of skeleton that allowed the thin copper skin just 3/32 of an inch thick to bend without breaking in strong winds. The statue's construction pushed boundaries. She would stand 1 feet tall, nearly the height of a modern 15-story building. With her pedestal, the monument would soar 305 feet above the ground. Her copper skin, once a reddish brown, would naturally oxidize into the iconic green patina we see today. Piece by piece, she began to take shape in Paris. Every detail was intentional.
Even the direction of her gaze mattered. She would face east, toward Europe, standing as a link between the old world and the new. Bartholdi called her liberty enlightening the world.
But vision alone was not enough. A statue of such size had never been attempted. Bartholdi needed engineering genius. He found it in Gustave Eiffel, the man who would later design the Eiffel Tower. Eiffel designed a flexible iron framework, a kind of skeleton that allowed the thin copper skin just 3/32 of an inch thick to bend without breaking in strong winds. The statue's construction pushed boundaries. She would stand 1 feet tall, nearly the height of a modern 15-story building. With her pedestal, the monument would soar 305 feet above the ground. Her copper skin, once a reddish brown, would naturally oxidize into the iconic green patina we see today. Piece by piece, she began to take shape in Paris. From the beginning, the project was a partnership. The French people would fund the statue itself, while Americans would fund the pedestal. In France, the response was overwhelming. Ordinary citizens, artists, and schoolchildren donated. Sculptors, masons, and metalworkers devoted years of labor. By 1884, the statue stood complete in Paris, towering above rooftops. But in America, money for the pedestal lagged. Some politicians doubted its importance, while others felt the funds could be better spent elsewhere. Then, newspaper publisher Joseph Pulitzer stepped in. Through his paper, The New York World, Pulitzer launched a fundraising campaign unlike any before. He appealed to everyday Americans, promising to print every donor's name whether they gave a penny or a dollar.
The result was historic. Over 120 people contributed, most with small donations.
The pedestal would rise, after all, built on Bedloe's Island in New York Harbor. Everyone knows the Statue of Liberty as the Mother of Exiles.
But here's the twist. She was never meant to play that role. In fact, her most famous identity almost never happened at all. From the late 1800s to the early 1900s, More than 12 million immigrants passed through Ellis Island.
For them, the Statue of Liberty was the first sight of America. Imagine the scene. Exhausted families crowded on ship decks, eyes fixed on the towering figure in the distance. For many, Lady Liberty was not just a statue, she was hope made real. It was during this period that Emma Lazarus's poem, The New Colossus, gained prominence. Inscribed on a plaque in 1903, it gave the statue a new identity. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. And with those words, Liberty became something more than a monument to democracy. She became the mother of exiles. Over time, the statue's symbolism grew. She was a rallying figure during World War I and World War II. In posters and speeches, she stood as a symbol of America's fight against tyranny. In the civil rights era, activists looked to her as a reminder of America's unfinished promise of liberty for all.
She was not just an American monument, she became a global symbol of freedom, justice, and human rights.
Everyone knows the Statue of Liberty asked the mother of exiles, but here's the twist: she was never meant to play that role. Her most famous identity almost never happened. From the late 1800s to the early 1900s, more than 12 million immigrants passed through Ellis Island, and for them, the Statue of Liberty was the first sight of America. Picture these: seen exhausted families on crowded ship decks, eyes fixed on the towering figure. To them, Lady Liberty wasn't just a statuette, was hope made real. But here's the thing, hope wasn't carved into her from the very beginning. So where did that idea come from? It was during this period that Emma Lazarus's poem, The New Colossus, changed everything. Inscribed on a plaque in 1903, it gave her a new identity. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Those words rewrote her story, turning her into more than a monument to democracy. Thema Daratha, mother of exiles. But here's the part: few notice her strongest symbol isn't her torch or her crown. It's the broken chains at her feet, almost invisible from the ground, telling of oppression shattered and freedom claimed. And even that wasn't the whole story. Bartholdi, her sculptor, first designed her for Egypt, not America. A colossal robed woman lighting the Suez Canal. The project was abandoned, and the dream crossed the Atlantic. So how did an Egyptian vision become America's symbol? That's where the story gets even crazier right here on Brainy Echo. Hit like, ring the bells so you never miss the hidden Echos of history that shaped our world.